It says we are live. Hello, everyone. We are here to discuss a book that I'm blanking on the title. Just kidding. If We Were Villains by that author that I really don't remember.
M.L. Rio.
M.L. Rio. There you go.
M.L. Rio.
Here, we'll quickly share the picture of the cover. If you want to buy it on Amazon, that's what it looks like. Does anybody want to? I don't have a copy of the book to show because I had to return it to the library.
Yeah, I listened to it by audiobook, so I don't have a copy yet.
I have a book here.
Do you want to read the synopsis and do your fancy?
Oh
no! Your dramatic reading.
Okay. Oliver Marks has just served 10 years for a murder that he may or may not have committed. On the day of his release, he is greeted by the detective who put him in prison. Detective Colborne is retiring, and he wants to know what really happened a decade before. As a young actor at an elite conservatory, Oliver noticed that his talented classmates seemed to play the same characters on stage and off. Villain, hero, temptress. Though he was always a supporting role. But when the teachers change the casting, a good-natured rivalry turns ugly, and the plays spill dangerously over into real life. And then when tragedy strikes, one of the 7 friends is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convince the police and themselves that they are blameless.
Dun dun dun.
Katie's like, I am ashamed of myself.
I'm just like, oh, this every month.
What did we rate it?
I gave it 3.5.
Same.
So it's kind of like middle of the road.
I DNF'd it.
I probably would have DNF'd it, but I was just like, no, like it has just enough to like I wanted to know actually how it happened, but I'm not gonna lie, I did skim through a few chapters or whatever, acts, whatever you want to call them.
I think if I wasn't listening to it, it probably would have taken me a lot longer and I would have enjoyed it less because it did take me a while to get into it for like maybe like the first quarter because just how heavy it was in the Shakespearean talk. And I used to be into Shakespearean plays, but not so much now, or at least that phase has kind of petered out a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And it was kind of confusing with all the way that they were talking. It's like, are they in the play currently, or are they just talking to each other normally? What's going on?
That's what I was trying to figure out too. It almost seems like it was a little of both. But they did have a lot of like other plays and they would use those to kind of I don't even know.
Yeah, I got confused a lot of the time. Like for me, it was like they switched from one Shakespeare to another, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, where it suddenly went to like Macbeth or something, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's like pick a play, bro. Pick a play.
Yeah, I don't know. They very much like switched. They kept switching, and I was just like, okay, we're doing this one now. Wait, what were we just doing?
Yeah, and I'm like, but you haven't finished the other one yet. Like,
right?
Like you've literally just done an audition for for one, and then you're doing another. Like what? Like all of a sudden it was like 3 girls doing Hubble Bubble, Toil and Trouble or something. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
it was
what's
almost
going
like
on?
they would audition for one, and then they'd be working on one simultaneously, but then prepping for a third one, and I don't even know.
Yeah, I was just very lost with all of
Yeah.
Lucinda says hi. I didn't read it. I just wanted to listen. Listen away, Lucinda.
Well,
listen away.
yeah. I don't know if you would read it.
Yeah. What format did we read it in?
Audio.
I did physical and audio.
UK for some reason does not have. I'm assuming it's because it's to do with the rights, but they didn't have an audiobook, so I tried to physically read it. But I feel like with audio, it might have helped me read further.
Mhm.
But yeah, physically reading was a struggle to follow.
Listen, even with
I
physical
don't know
and
if you found
audio,
that.
even with having both, it was a struggle. That one took me longer than it should have to read. We already
See, I
did.
wanted to like it though, because
Yeah.
Like compare
really
this one,
enjoying English,
compare
I
this one
wanted
to that other horrible book we read. What was that other one we read that we really did not like? Which I think I also DNF'd. What was that one?
Was that the Year of the Reaper one?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's about similar. As I think of that one, I'm going, yeah.
I understood the last half of this one more than I did the other one. So
Once you catch on to like them going back and forth to him explaining what happened and then like being in present day of it happening, then you start to understand. But when they go back and forth, you get confused.
yeah, I think if the author did a better job about kind of like have, having better cues of whenever it's changing timelines, it would have been better for me because I also got confused about like, oh, we're in the past again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no obvious like
Time
saying
change
what,
or
like
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's like something simple like 3 years ago or something, or
Mhm.
previously.
Characters.
There was so many.
Yeah.
I
There
had to
was a
literally
lot.
write a list on my phone of like all the characters and their descriptions as well, because I was just like trying to help to picture so that I can differentiate the characters.
Yeah, really the only ones that stood out to me that I had, like I even written a note saying that I felt terrible for Ren because it was her cousin who was found dead. And just with the kind of I think she had a suicide attempt at one point, if I'm remembering correctly. It's just things mentally for her was starting to go downhill. So I felt terrible for her. And the way that the breakdown of the characters for me was kind of fascinating because of how they really kind of lived their roles. Like they based their reactions to stuff pretty much like their characters almost. But I think that was what the curse of Shakespeare is because I just put Shakespeare is cursed in my notes.
Yeah.
Hi, kitty.
That's Ralphie. He goes where I go. Your most favorite character?
I didn't have a favorite character.
No, I didn't. I just didn't really connect with any characters myself.
I definitely felt more of the spectator of this book than actually being really immersed into the story and kind of just instead of like being like
Yes.
an unnamed character kind of following along on the journey. I just felt like I was like God mode and like playing The Sims and just watching things happen.
Yeah, there's no real like you can't really like see yourself being attached to anybody because You don't really get a sense of who they are without them speaking Shakespeare every other line.
Yeah, like their normal talk to each other is Shakespeare. It's like what?
Yeah, it's like they've done Shakespeare so much that they just, now I'm going to speak Shakespearean to you. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I there's no connection whatsoever.
No.
When you're like a book could have done with more normal people, beta readers instead of celebrities.
Yeah. I think most of the time they just send it to like other authors and celebrities just to get the name on the book, not so much caring for the actual review of it.
I will recite Hubble, Boyle, etc. at work, and my colleagues are like WTF. They don't like the toil and trouble. It's not.
Or maybe they're like, "Are you calling us witches?"
Yeah. Do we have a least favorite character? If we didn't like anybody, we must have a least favorite character.
I did
Um,
not like Richard, and I was actually kind of glad he died. So I'm like, good. No one needs him. No one needs the dude bro who beats people up around anymore.
yeah, I agree with that one. I didn't like him, and there was one other I didn't care for, but I don't
I didn't
remember
really
their
care for
name.
his girlfriend either, or like the temptress
Oh
character,
yeah, yeah. She wasn't.
or something like that.
She always wanted to be the damsel in distress.
Hmm.
I don't know. These characters, they just. I think because the way they did the book, I think if they had done it a little differently, you would be able to connect to them more. But I got nothing.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
didn't connect any emotion to like no emotional attachment to any of them. Like I just didn't care.
yeah. I was just more on autopilot with like this book.
Hmm.
It's like I didn't feel any strong emotions or nothing grated on me enough to like for me to stop and DNF it because it takes a lot for me to question a book to DNF it like this one I'm currently that I just started today. It's dated in the way that characters are described, to like their race is described and obesity is described, and it's just making me feel icky. So I'm considering DNFing it. But like I just didn't feel either way, so I'm like, I'll just read it because it's something to listen to while I play games and drive. So
Hmm. Which is ironic because given that these characters have to go through drama classes and have all of those range of emotions, there are no emotions for us to attach
No, no.
to the characters. So I don't know.
Literally, they all could have died, and I wouldn't have cared.
Uh huh. I mean, it literally could have been a there's one killer and they slowly kill them off one by one, and I'm like, oops. Well, um, plot.
I thought the concept was pretty interesting. It's just if the, as we said, if the characters were a little bit more likable, that we could relate to them a little bit more, it would have gone better.
Literally, the prologue for me was the most exciting part. Just where it's, I don't know, it's just where it's like they're literally in prison and then they're being visited, and it's like what actually happened all that time ago. And I was like, oh, this is intriguing. And then I'm just like, why am I? Why is there Shakespeare like just being spoken here, there, and everywhere? Which one's this one from? Yeah, I feel like the idea of it was really, really good, but how it was executed was not good.
I don't even remember the prologue. Like,
I
I
mean, it
know that he
literally
was
is
in
pretty much.
prison, but that's about it.
Yeah, it literally is just like the literally the first paragraph of the synopsis, where he's like, imprisoned for a murder that he may or may not have committed, and the detective visits him, and it's kind of like what actually happened all that time ago, and that's pretty much it. But
My
like,
I,
that's the only part where I was like, "Oh, this is a really good, start of a
really
storyline."
the only severe, like, profound thought I had at that part was literally at the end of that. I go dun dun dun.
Yeah. Let's see what happens next.
And then it just
um,
went like, blah.
yeah, yeah. Writing. How
I
do
give the author points for making it lyrical and kind of sticking to like it being more of like Shakespearean side of using that as inspiration. I thought that was handled pretty well. It's just if it coincided with everything else. It's like different aspects I can see it really working. It's just when it comes together in one package, it didn't really work.
Yeah.
I think it was just when it was all Shakespearean like nonsense with the communication. That's when I was just like lost because I was like, what does this even mean? But when it's actually like normal writing, I was following it quite easily.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to get into the fact that instead of having like part one and then chapter one, we had act one, scene
Yeah,
one, which after you get used to reading it, yeah, you can see where he's going with it because of the whole drama and play scenarios. But at the same time, like, I would have liked some sort of differentiation so that we
yeah,
know we're going into different parts and different
yeah.
Mhm.
chapters instead of acts because I'm gonna be like, what are we
And
doing?
for me, in my paperback, it's really weird. Like the acts would start like halfway through the page or like three quarters down, and that really irritates me. I don't know. Like I prefer starting chapters on a clean page myself, but
Yeah.
Give
and
me
like
page
it's
breaks.
different when you're obviously following audiobook because you can't really tell the difference. Like they just go like act two,
Yeah.
scene whatever. But in the book, it is really like literally like this one here. The scene is there. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like why?
I think like in a way I was thinking of it either being more modern and of them using more modern language and only using the Shakespearean stuff for the play parts, or that them really leaning into it and being almost like how the Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet, where it's like modern time, but they're still speaking in the Shakespearean language. It's like you, from his like lean one way or the other. Don't,
Yeah.
yeah, 80/20. Don't do that.
Choose a path and use it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they are saving on trees. Who knows?
That is true. Our favorite part of the book.
The beginning, like I just said.
Um,
The part
I
where I finished.
I think the part where they like he is trying to clean up the house that they all live in, and he ends up overhearing the detectives and stuff, and him starting to kind of put more like two and two together, kind of thing, and then him
Hmm.
deciding that he's going to take the rap for everything.
Which I didn't quite get. Like, why would he take the rap for somebody else when really didn't have to?
Being noble.
I suppose.
So they never explained that. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
At least not directly, I don't feel like.
No. Least favorite part. All of it.
Just the Shakespeare chat. And the bouncing between past, present, and
I don't really have much feelings one way or emotions towards one way or another, so I don't really can, can't really pinpoint a part where I'm like, oh, I wish this wasn't in here.
And was this supposed to be young adult?
I think
it's
more
adult.
I would
think
count
it's
it
like
as new adult because
college,
it being
like
college. Yeah,
yeah,
New adult?
yeah, I think new adult.
yeah, like
But not really old enough to be drinking.
I
Yours
don't know.
like teeter
like
teeter
this
totters.
book
I think
here in
there
the
was a
UK. This
couple
book
of
wasn't found in the YA section. It was like literally in like the sci-fi thriller horror kind of section.
I think new adult is more like a newer age range that publishers are starting to like kind of lean more into that I've been seeing. But I think I have it listed on my spreadsheet as new adult because it's them in college. It's kids in college and stuff like that.
Okay. They did have a lot of booze throughout too.
Mm.
Shakespeare and booze.
I like how you say that, and I'm over here drinking my wine.
Well, you usually need wine for a book discussion. I should have got some.
I have this white, like honey wine that's been in my fridge for a while. That's a little too sweet, so I put like that much of the wine, and the rest of it, like up to here, was Sprite. So,
Well, there you go. Like a mocktail, sort of. Would you reread it? I wouldn't.
Probably, I'd give their other books a chance, but not this book. I don't think.
I might after a few years, considering like my interest in Shakespeare tends to come and go. It just really depends on like if I get to that stage where I'm wanting to read all the Shakespeare stuff or inspired stuff, so I can see myself rereading it.
Mm.
I don't know.
But yeah.
I'm kind of glad that I was able to get it from the library and return it. Hello, sneaking up behind you.
He's got the baby. He got the baby.
How's he doing?
He's doing pretty good.
He's doing his fruit and nuts.
He likes blueberries a lot.
Yes, they will. Blueberries, strawberries.
I got him to drink some milk earlier too, and a little bit of Pedialyte because he's kind of dehydrated.
Well, that's good.
No,
He's just chilling.
little baby.
Yeah, when I took a nap earlier, I grabbed him and then I like tucked him into the blanket and then just went to sleep. I was asleep for like an hour and a half, and I woke up and I go, "Huh, what time is? Oh shit, squirrel! Okay, he's still there."
Nap
He
time with
was,
the squirrel.
he was taking a nap too.
He's like, "No, I am exploring her hair."
All the sugary treats. Oh, yeah. They like to nest.
Let's see if we can go pee.
Ah, baby.
Give him some privacy before you do that. The world doesn't need to see him be.
He did the whole squirrel shit too, where his tail was.
Oh, he's been doing that.
I was like,
for a
"Fuck
while.
yeah!"
Yeah, he was doing that for me last night too. He just sweet.
Would we buy this book for someone else?
I'd buy it for my
The
enemy.
pretty special edition. I know of one person I can get it for. Is Allie with Hardback Hoarder loves this, and she's the reason why I had it on my 23 and 23 because she goes on about it so much. So I'm like, fine, I'll put it on my list.
Would you read another book by the author?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's
I
iffy.
like to try to
I
get.
suppose it depends on the storyline if it intrigues me.
Yeah.
Would you read it, Ralphie? I'll take that as a no.
It's like I want kisses, Mama.
Yeah. He's
So I don't want to read
being
no shitty
mean.
books.
Would you like another book from this world? No.
Nah. Nah.
I'm good.
I'd be interested to see if they do another like dark academia book of doing it in a different like kind of branch instead of doing drama, maybe like music or another art kind of thing. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah. What books would you recommend that are similar?
Any dark academia.
Anything?
Yeah, I've not read a lot of Dark Academia, so I can't really.
I would kind of would consider Cloisters because with it being dark academia, mystery, crime. I just I don't feel good. I feel up.
I got a wristwatch.
Yeah, but come here. I want you. Yeah, he's a squirrel babysitter now.
He looks like he's about the age of when I would usually get mine. When I volunteered, I would usually get him during baby season. I would be the squirrel foster mom. And he looks to be about 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
Well, his eyes are wide open, so that's why I'm thinking he's around 8. Because they start to open their eyes around 4 weeks, from what I've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
At least for the squirrels in this area. So
He's just watching you.
yeah, so, I don't know. I mean,
I had him in my pocket of my shirt yesterday when I had him at the office. He didn't know.
He says, I am quite comfortable.
She's warm. No.
compared to me,
Right.
Do we have any other comments on this book? Not really going into detail too much about this one. Me personally, there's not much to say.
I did enjoy the like mystery part of it, like mystery thriller part of it. I thought that was done pretty well. Unlike with the Cloisters, how it was kind of like thrown in as an afterthought almost, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was done better. Where are you going?
He says, I like to climb.
okay, come here.
Apple time. Yeah.
So, because I DNF'd, do you two want to let me know the points of the book that stood out that happened?
Where did you leave off? Like, when did you stop?
I'm only like 100 pages in.
Oh, wow. I mean, let's see. Richard died. There was a bunch of arguments between Richard and his girlfriend.
And his girlfriend slept with the main character.
Yep.
At a fight. Because of Richard being a douchebag and beating people up.
Yep. He took his temper. He always used his temper against that one kid. I can't think of his name, but he always picked on him.
James? What's his name? Was his name James?
Jamie, something like that.
There's a James character, yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably James.
Handsome and liked by everyone is how he was described in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think it ended up being Jamie that was the one that killed Richard, but it was more of like an accident type thing.
I think, yeah, like he was
Self-defense.
Self-defense, and just kind of let him sink into the water, and they were all kind of when they found him, he was still technically alive. So they all just stood there and watched until he drowned.
But what started it was, I guess, James was in the boathouse. Was he the one that was doing the drugs?
One of them was doing drugs. I can't.
And maybe it wasn't James. One of them was doing drugs. One of them was getting picked on by Richard, and
Yeah.
but the one that was getting picked on by Richard, I think he was in like the boathouse or whatever, and Richard started to take his aggravations out on him, and then
Yeah,
he
Richard
became
tried
like a
to.
hook.
Yeah, and at one point, Richard tried to drown James. I think at an after party, like right a
Yeah,
week or two before he actually died.
they were doing that. Someone's up on your shoulders and in the water, and you have to knock someone over. Yeah. See, there's a lot that's in the story, but at the same time, you don't get enough of the emotional connection
Mm.
to really care. But yeah, so I think it basically, like, James had like a hook type thing, and he scratched Richard really deeply on the face, and then somehow he ended up in the water, and they all watched him drown, and then collaborated stories. So that's the story is supposed to be the recount of what everything that happened from Oliver's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, but why did Oliver take the fall? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I don't know if it was because he felt bad and was trying to protect him in some way, but
Yeah, but then the guilt behind like him doing that, James ended up killing himself before Oliver was released.
so they say they never found the body. So another dun dun dun. Where did his body go? So it's there's a lot.
It's like a soap opera.
Yep.
yeah,
And then,
like a lot of lies, cheats, and scandals amongst Shakespeare.
yes.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of them. Like each year they kept going.
Well, it also seemed like whoever took Richard's spot as like the lead guy for whatever play they were doing, they
Mhm.
started to kind of like go kind of crazy like he did, and like start being kind of aggressive. That seemed to be like a trend that they were going down.
I don't remember if that was James or if it was the other one. Not Oliver, because there was Oliver James and then there was a third one besides Richard.
Yeah,
There's a character called Alexander.
yeah.
Him, I think.
Because
I
to
think
start
he
with,
was.
there was Frederick, Gwendolyn, and Richard on the casting table. And then I've got Meredith, Philippa, Wren,
Yeah,
Oliver
I think
James,
it was
Alexander.
Alexander, who was the one that was doing drugs. Because I know there was supposed to be like a token gay guy. That was the one thing, and there it's like the one gay guy that's in the whole thing, and you have him doing drugs. That's kind of like why?
And a lot of them.
Yeah, it's like big
He,
side eye for you from me, and it's like why?
yeah, it was almost like because my question is where did he get them all? Like,
Yeah.
because at one point Oliver said he was cleaning and tidying up their room, and he just like found bottle after bottle after bottle, and they were like all underneath his bed or something. And I was like, first of all, where do you get all this stuff? There's no way it can be prescribed to you. I mean, you probably could, but that's a lot.
Yeah, like hoarding it after a time, selling it by pill or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And then there was the Oliver would start finding pieces and then putting the pieces in a locker in a closet that nobody rarely used. So he had
Yeah.
like a bloodied piece of cloth, and he found the hook in somebody's mattress, and he was all hiding it in one locker.
It's a big game of Clue.
Right? It was this person with this weapon in this room. And in this case, it was outside.
Just like how Crave is the Lion King, this is Clue.
That, I think, if he had done it in a sense of setting it up like Clue, but slightly different, but still had the we're in a drama school aspect, I think that would have been more interesting.
Yeah. Also, Oliver had like a difficult relationship with his dad because his dad didn't want him to go to that school to become an actor. He wanted him to like go into like an actual profession or something like that. They had like a big argument or something about that.
Yeah, and then they had the argument of he wasn't gonna be able to go back that one semester because of his sister needed counseling or something, and he ended up getting a scholarship through the school.
Yeah, his sister had an eating disorder, so they were gonna send her to like a rehab or something.
Mm-hmm.
See, soap opera Clue.
You didn't miss nothing at all.
Ta-da!
I just
We
didn't
told
want to
you.
waste my life trying to read that book.
Be thankful you didn't. We told you everything in under 10 minutes.
Yay! And also probably other people like Lucinda, which, you know, if you haven't read it,
Sorry if you didn't want to be spoiled, but it happens.
well, it is a book club discussion.
Yeah.
I
you've
will
discussed
change
everything
the
that
title.
happened.
I will change the title and say with spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch. Other than that, I can't think of anything
Yeah.
bad.
I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. The only
Yeah.
thing left to do is to say what the next book is and channel.
Yes, yes.
Love
Chantal?
Theoretically. Yeah, Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood, and it is on my channel. I think. Or is it yours, Kay? I can't remember.
Yours, I think.
Fine.
Because I did.
I was say, don't ask me because I don't remember.
What was the one that I did the cloisters? So yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right? I think so.
I just know it's this book.
I'm still
I
waiting
think it's
for a
you,
copy.
because I think I did the thing.
I'm actually pretty excited for this one. I'll probably start it soon because I was telling Sam earlier, I just finished Love on the Brain. So, and that one was pretty good. So I'm looking to see how this one pans out.
I need to see if I can get a physical copy from my library instead of waiting for the digital and audio. That's going to take too long.
I saw the wait list for mine.
My computer in the search bar at the bottom has a little picture of a squirrel in front of a DSLR camera.
Why?
I don't know.
The squirrel took a picture of himself.
I didn't know Colson Whitehead came out with a new book.
Did we pick a date for this one yet?
September 16th.
Yeah, I think it would, yeah.
There we go. September 16th for Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood on Sam's channel?
On Sam's channel. Hopefully 7 p.m. BST.
I promise not to be late to that one.
We were just like, Alicia?
Waiting at them. Let's go.
You're probably there like, oh shoot, I forgot.
Well, and
Groceries.
the thing is too is like I never got the notifications, and I just happened to look at my phone to call my husband and say I was on the way home, and then I saw you guys, and I was just like, wait, what? Ah, Nikes.
Okay, so I will pick up Love theoretically Monday because my hold from physical hold came in at the library, so I'll be getting started soon, hopefully.
Yay!
Because I forgot I had already put it on hold.
So now we can read this one.
Yeah, I think I got mine on the TBR as well. So yeah.
And quite possibly have all the feels. We'll have more emotion in this one.
Well, I would like to hope.
I mean, if you compare
Hopefully
it
some
to
love.
this one. Yeah.
It's not a book club discussion of ours if one of us doesn't have negative reactions. It seems to be a theme, like at least the last few.
Yes.
Of them, so.
Even if it's just like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 4, and a 5 normally tends to be, but with this one it was like a nope, nope, and a nope.
It was nice to try, however.
Yeah, I got it. Like it was always on my Amazon wish list because so many people recommended it. I'm with Shakespeare and drama, and I like drama and theatre stuff, and I was just like, I don't know. It's almost I was kind of like disappointed, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But we read a hyped book. It's quite hyped, so
I got to check it off my 23 and 23 spreadsheet, so I'm happy about that. I only read like 3 off of that list. And 2 of them were book club books.
I was gonna say we still have a couple of months.
I was gonna say, does Ali know your rating of the book and your feelings?
I don't think she does. I don't think I even told her I had read the book, so I'm probably just going to keep that to myself. So I think
I was gonna say she doesn't have to know
unless she
I'll
stumbles across this video.
I'll probably wait until I read God Killer, and hopefully I loved God Killer. That way I can be like, I gave If We Were Villains 3.5, but I loved God Killer.
Yep.
But she still owes me a list of books because I would like to do a reading vlog, but she still has yet to message me a list of books.
Oh gosh. Well, if we don't have any other comments, questions, concerns about If We Were Villains, then we can go ahead and end this here. And wait, we have a comment. It says, oh, did you finish God Killer?
No, I have it sitting on my TBR stack next to the desk. It's staring at me. But whenever I get around to it, hopefully I'll like it.
There you go. And on that note, join us for Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood in September on Sam's channel. I will try to link to that.
It's fitting. It's how it's my turn to host when it's September is my birthday month. So.
Surprise!
And then the month after, we've got Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman.
Yes, so those are the 2 books. I don't have my copy of Thunderhead nearby.
No, Thunderhead is somewhere in this.
Yes, like that way.
Somewhere over there. But yeah, Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman, book 2.
We're finally finishing another series.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're finally continuing this series.
Yay!
Been meaning to read it.
Yes. And until next time,
Yes.
happy reading, everyone.
Bye.
Leave us comments down below if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.